Not Nerd Podcast, episode 333. Don't get your panties in a bunch.
Welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Howdy, hello, how are you, my friend?
I am good. I was very good.
You may have noticed I was kind of doing a little dance here.
A little dance, dance.
Yeah, I was doing it to the tune of Girl from Ipanema.
Oh.
But I couldn't remember all the words, and so I was just doing it silently.
Silently dancing while I intro. Always trying to distract.
Yes.
Away from the task at hand, which is talking about technology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do this time.
Yep. This episode, we're going to talk some tech. And in our follow-up, we're going to start off with it because it is developing every moment. We are recording on Monday, April 25th in the evening, and Elon Musk has successfully purchased Twitter, according to what I'm being told on the internet.
Yes, and I'm sure there are some details to be worked out, but
yes.
We thought it was all off, that it was just kind of a farce, and that the board was not going to do it. And then, did calmer minds prevail? Did smarter minds? I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but it's happening.
It is his original offer of $54.20 per share, which was way over what it was at that point, but also, I noticed today the stock price is going up because people want to buy the stock if they're going to get a return when the purchase goes through. But yes, as you can imagine.
I contemplated. I said, you know what? I'm too deep into all these other things that nobody knows where they're going, GameStop and crypto. And I'm like, I'm just going to set this one out.
Yes, I did. I bought a little bit of it the other week when this started first coming out, but not enough to retire yet, so we'll continue doing the Not Nerd Podcast. But of course, Twitter was aflame with everybody's take, and I saw a lot of the "I'm leaving Twitter," much like with the former president, all the people that said that they were going to move to Canada if he was elected, to which I think zero people moved to Canada.
Well, that's assuming Canada will let you in.
Exactly. Well,
there's
that
no
doesn't
guarantee.
Matter. That doesn't matter. You got to send your thing out. But his claim is, as we talked about last week, that he wants to make it a free speech platform. He really wants to kind of not make it open source code per se, but release how all these algorithms work, get rid of all the bots. That's one of the things he wants to do is get rid of fake accounts. And he's talking about he wants to have a way to verify all accounts. Not necessarily a blue check mark for everybody, but what he wants to do is create a system where accounts could have a verification. Not saying that you're a celebrity, which is, they have this weird quasi thing now, like Vinny Tortorich, the guy that does the no sugar, no grains that I've followed for a long time. He has a ton of followers, qualifies for all the things, but they won't verify him. So it's kind of like this mysterious who gets verified thing. But he wants to have a way that you can know that the account you're talking to is actually a person. And, all these people, he's going to ruin Twitter. And it's like, well, was Twitter perfect? And now he's going to take it and do something completely different? Like, I don't know.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Is he going to unban people who are banned? If so, this could be huge. For some people, huge.
I was looking before we started recording, and when you Google Twitter news, the top headline from Yahoo News, Trump insists he has no plans to rejoin Twitter, even if Elon Musk reinstates his account. So as of 5 hours ago, when we're recording this, he said he doesn't even want to come back because he'd rather have Truth Social where nobody posts and he doesn't post. But
you can't get an account.
But I do think he has talked about, looking at other accounts that have been banned. And there's been people that, like the Babylon Bee, which is a complete satire site. They were recently banned. And a lot of people, I also saw people saying, banning whoever the employee was that banned Babylon Bee. They're really shaking in their boots now because they were insinuating that the whole reason Twitter is buying, Elon Musk is buying Twitter is because they banned the Babylon Bee. So,
they're not that pervasive in society.
Yes.
And I only heard about them recently. So
yes, I learned about them from a friend of the show, Todd. They post a lot of fun headlines, but yeah, so I'm being positive. I'm optimistic that Elon Musk will come in. He's obviously a pretty smart guy. I know a lot of people don't like him, and they don't like him right now because he bought Twitter. But let's give it some time. Let's see what he does. I was actually reading some stuff, I think it was last week, that like the Twitter board of directors, so the people that make decisions for Twitter, like for one, they have all of them, each of them had like less than 1% like stock. Like I think most of them, besides Jack Dorsey, one of the founders, the other like 9 board members had together less than 1% of Twitter shares, and none of them are active on Twitter. Like they don't tweet. Like they have a verified account, but they do not tweet. It's like, how about let's get some people in there that are actively interested in making it a better platform instead of just these corporate heads that don't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know why they asked to have board members join them who aren't interested in the product at all.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. What?
We'll see.
Yeah. Don't get your panties in a bunch. Let's just see what happens. And another piece of follow-up related, I did want to quickly, I could not remember the names for the life of me last week. The 2 services that I was talking about, there's one where there's Substack, and the other one is Locals, which are 2 platforms where you can have a subscription base online, so you can basically become your own paid website. You write content and people can pay to, you can put some free content and then paid content. So those are the ones I was referring to last week that I could not remember. And you mentioned the other one, which now I'm not remembering that. But yeah, these platforms where you can kind of go independent and have a good place to grow your subscriber base. And
Medium is the one, I think.
Medium, yes. So you have these different platforms where it's more decentralized communication. In this week, in messages from friends of the show, Jared had asked us for a recommendation on a MagSafe battery pack for his phone. So I had sent him both the one that you recently had as a pick of the week and the one that I did a long time ago. I recommended yours over his, and I said, if money isn't an issue, get the Apple one because it's really sleek and slim. But yours was really nice, and so I'll put those links in the show notes.
And I used it yesterday, and it prolonged the life of my iPhone 13 Pro Max to all day.
Yeah.
My family and I joined other family members
in America's pastime.
Yeah, the Mariners versus the Kansas City Royals, and I was rooting for Kansas City, of course, because that's where I hail from. Well, yes. Kansas anyway, and they lost, unfortunately. Spoilers for those of you
that haven't recorded and are planning to watch it several days later, which is not a good way to do sports.
That's a perfect way to watch baseball.
Yes.
Well, then you could at least fast forward all the boring parts, which is everything but the final score, if you ask me. But anyway, I digress. I took it with me. I was at the ballpark. I was filming, taking pictures. I posted one picture on social media. Otherwise, using it all day long. And the battery, it died, I don't know, sometime in the afternoon, but my phone was still full, and so it worked. I probably got home. I charged it in the car on the way home, but it was great. It's fantastic. So and it's a 500 milliamp, and it works fantastic.
5,000 milliamp.
Oh, 5,000. Yes, 500.
Yes. And I think mine claims to be 10,000. I used mine the other week. We went to the Tulip Festival, and my phone was not at full charge as we left, so I charged it on the way down there and was able to maintain. So it is a nice thing if you're doing some traveling or away from a charger. It's a lot more convenient than like what you talked about when you made it the pick of the week of having your phone in one pocket, a charger in the other pocket, and then the cord dangling from pocket to pocket.
Yes, this summer with my cargo pants, I will not have that scenario. Now I've got my little MagSafe battery pack, and who knows, I might pick up a second one as a backup to my backup.
Yeah,
you can never have enough backups.
True. Oh, well, as they say, one backup is none backup, Dave.
That's right. One backup is none backup, Nate. You can't move forward unless you back up. Behold the power of backup.
Thank you. Well, in this week, and not having a good week, is Netflix. They had their earnings announcement last week. And instead of gaining subscribers like they had done every quarter before, it was expected they would gain about 200 or 2.5 million more subscribers. They lost 200,000 and their stock plummeted.
200,000 is a drop in the bucket compared to millions.
But when you're not going in the right direction. So I actually pulled a couple different articles on this. But yeah, their stock went way down like we've seen with Facebook and a couple others this year. But one of the things that was being talked about is they churned out over 500 original programs last year. Wow. And it looks like maybe now they're going to think about maybe a little less content and a little more quality.
Scaling back a bit, I think.
Yes. So that was one of the problems. And then they did say that they believe there are 100 million non-paying households using shared passwords. So this is what we talked about last time, like how many people, who's doing this. So they say 100 million. So that's what, half of their subscribers?
That's a lot. I mean, maybe. Again, they're saying households. So if you were using my account, you're a different household, and it's not people within the household. So crazy.
Netflix is a little rough. I made a bold move this week, something that I do not do often. I canceled both my Netflix and my Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus bundle accounts. I said, you know what? I'm paying a lot of money for these. They're not doing good. They're losing subscribers. Maybe they're going to lose one more, and I'll take a month or two off. We use them, a couple times a month, and I'm almost tempted. I'm thinking about, not that I couldn't even watch the Blazer games this season. That's a whole nother story. But I'm thinking about maybe canceling my YouTube Premium for the summer. So I would not have TV service, because most of the time my daughter's watching YouTube videos, or I barely watch any TV. I'd rather listen to good podcasts anyways, pending on the YouTube TV, which is definitely the most expensive of my subscriptions. But I'm now saving myself like $35 a month by canceling Netflix and Disney Plus, hopefully for a couple months. So I can buy more tech gear.
I know my wife would love for me to get rid of some subscriptions. So I did cancel her Hallmark subscription that I got for her back in November. And I told her about it. I said, hey, I finally turned that thing off. And she said, well, why are you canceling my subscription? What are you going to cancel? And I'm like, is Netflix mine? Is Disney mine?
Yeah.
Which one of these is mine? Because I don't have a Just a Dave subscription.
Yes.
So anyway.
Well, and you only need the Hallmark channel for the Christmas movies anyway. Yeah. So the rest of the year, and I've heard some discussion this week about how many people do just cancel something until they're ready to go. And I've got plenty of other ones through Amazon Prime and Apple One Plus TV Cloud, whatever I've got. And there's plenty of things to watch out there. So I thought about myself for a moment.
Yeah. Rest assured, she will get another subscription this November for a couple months, and she can catch up on whatever she needs to watch. But paying $10 or $20 a year for Hallmark is way better than like $120. And some months you just sit there and not use it. So
yes, true. Well, Netflix had a bad week, but not as bad as the service we just mentioned last week, CNN Plus, which has announced they are just shutting down at the end of the month. So they lasted like a month. They poured $300 million into the service. Now, part of the complication is CNN has just been acquired by Discovery. So in some of the stuff I saw, it was talking about how Discovery is like, well, what are we doing with this service? So maybe some of the content will go into Discovery Plus, which I'm guessing they have probably.
I don't know. $300 million. Couldn't they have just lowered the price of something and given the customers back that money and
I
made
don't know.
fans for life instead of blowing it on this thing?
Yes, yeah, and also in real time follow-up from last week. That's not real time. Or in text messages with friends of the show, in discussing with Elliot the origins of the Plus being added to services.
Yes.
He mentioned Google Plus, which was around before all these streaming ones. And then I found on Google a reference to the use of the plus sign goes back to at least 1984, which when the French television channel Canal Plus made its debut. Google Plus was 2011 to 2019, but then I also found 2010 is when Hulu Plus first started. So that was a little before Google Plus. So a lot of debate on the interwebs about when the Plus really, but it's been the last few years when it's really taken off with all the streaming services.
Yeah, that was quite the discussion thread there. We were going way back in history to try to find out the origin of the Plus. And at the end of the day, nobody really cares.
Nope. And Wyze, they're doing it. It must be springtime when they release all their new stuff. They have the new Wyze Lock Bolt, fingerprint, keypad, Bluetooth connected smart lock for only $70, which is a lot cheaper than I paid for my August lock. So it looks like a real nice little device. I think my smart lock is one of the best purchases, holistic cost-wise, that we've made. I got it for my wife a couple years ago for her birthday, I think, got it set up. And every time I come home, the door just magically unlocks when I walk up to it. Don't have to do anything. When I leave, it locks again. We can share the code for people to get into our house. It's a nice little feature to have on your home.
And we've got one that I got from a friend a long time ago who shut down a business, but it's the door handle lock with a keypad that locks and unlocks it. So it's not the deadbolt, it's the actual door handle part. And those are more expensive typically.
Yeah.
But I do long for the ability to walk up to my house and have it automatically unlock versus putting in my 4-digit PIN code, which I should probably update because I think the paint's starting to wear off on the 4 digits that I've chosen. I've been thinking about this. I've been contemplating and thinking, well, maybe I should get one of these, put my doorknob, my regular doorknob back on there and get the deadbolt. And then, as you mentioned, approach the door, or I can, over the internet, unlock it for somebody if they're locked out or something like that. But we shall see. $70. It's not too shabby.
Yes, and I think they actually have another, they have just a simpler, more like mine where it just does the deadbolt with the Bluetooth and stuff, but this one has the fingerprint and the keypad and the Bluetooth. So
yeah, I think the keypad is perhaps optional.
Yes.
You can buy it separately if you don't want the whole package.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to watch the video while you do the next news story.
Okay, perfect. Well, speaking of next news stories, it's time for Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
Shoot, I only got into 15 seconds of the video. So, Nate, this burns in your mind and keeps you up at night, I'm sure. I bet you sit there and contemplate and going, I wonder how much the Alexa device knows about me. How much is it recorded? How could I get that information? Can I download the information? Can I delete the information? Well, this article I found on Lifehacker does talk about this topic. And they said how to download everything Amazon knows about you. Part of this process, of course, involves going to your Amazon account and signing in. And there are details in this. To make it simple for you, they've included a link. And so you go to a link which leads you to Amazon's help page, and you can request your personal information. You go to a website, you select the data that you want to receive, and you click Submit Request when you're done. And then you click a validation link to confirm your email. That's it. It downloads everything it knows about you. So, Nate, is this something that you have been pondering or concerned about the information that these online companies have about you? Are you interested at all in looking through what they've collected?
Well, I don't really use Alexa currently, but as you were talking, I actually went and requested my data. I am always just curious to look through it. So when they make a tool like this available for free and it's processing my data requests now, I do just like to see what's on there. I mean, some of it can be comical. You might find some good memories. I'm guessing most of mine will just be my orders from Amazon, which I have access to and recently looked through to do my taxes. But yeah, I think it is nice that they make this available. I've done it with, Google, even for clients through Google Workspace to download data for like an employee that left to make a backup or anything. But as we discussed before, and I won't make you say it again, but one backup is none backup, and just go download your data, see what's there, see if there's anything that concerns you, or just see what they're keeping track of over there at Amazon.
And it took me less than a time for you to stop talking, for me to click the link, go to my account, request access, verify my email address, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so I now have a submission request ready to go, and hopefully soon they'll be sending that stuff back to me. Now, had I planned ahead, I could have had this ready to go before the show. But, dear listener, you'll have to wait till next week's show to see exactly what type of information Amazon has for me.
We are each going to read through all of our data next week. So,
and just a little bit of more detail on this, you can request information about your orders, your addresses, payment options, subscriptions, blah, 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 advertising, et cetera, or you can request all your data. And I chose all my data.
Yes.
Now, I don't exactly know what they're going to get, but man, like search history, Kindle stuff, Amazon Drive, advertising, it's going to be a big pile.
Well, yes. Thank you for that, Dave. I always like having access to our data, and things have gotten much better on that. Well, let us move on to our takes of the week. So, Jack Dorsey, former CEO of Twitter, who is, and we were talking about last week, the Square, which turned into Block. Well, they went through the hassle of updating their corporate guidance with the SEC so that his new title, instead of CEO of Block, can be Blockhead. And I know how much you love the name Block, so now you have to refer to Jack as Blockhead. Now, interestingly enough, the other day we had lunch, and I had...
You and Jack Dorsey?
No, we had lunch with some friends, and PDX Fast Foodie note, I tried Shake Shack for the first time. Delicious.
Yeah.
But she works for Square Cash, and she said that they're keeping the name Square Cash, but the corporation is Block. And she said that in their company Slack account, Jack posted before it was revealed to the public that he had officially changed his name to Blockhead.
That is kind of ridiculous, but I do hate the name Block. I think Square was perfect. The branding's out there. Why all these companies like Facebook changing to Meta and Square changing to Block? It does nothing but confuse the customer. And I know that that's part of Facebook's plan, is to disassociate their Facebook brand, which has kind of been tarnished over the years, with something brand new. But I still don't get the whole block thing. And then you've got blockchain and crypto, and it just muddies the waters and confuses things, if you ask me.
Yes. Yeah, it does. It does. And speaking of Meta, they are opening a real life store to sell hardware to get you into the virtual world. So now, road trip,
talk
Dave.
About your meta.
Yes. It doesn't get any more meta than opening a real world store to sell you hardware to get into the virtual world.
Yeah, that's crazy. Can't you, correct me if I'm wrong, can't you already buy a Quest headset at real stores?
Yes, but they want to have their own store in Burlingame, California. So maybe we'll have to make a trip down there, hit the Apple store, hit the Google store, hit the Meta store, hit an Amazon store, and compare them all.
Is Burlingame in the Bay Area, or where is that?
It is the coat factory capital of the world.
Oh my word! What a thing to be known for.
Well, I only guess that because of Burlingame Coat Factory. It is in San Mateo, California, near
That's not helping.
It's on the San Francisco Peninsula.
Okay, yes, that's what I needed.
So it's in the San Francisco Bay. So yes, it is Bay Area, as you would guess, where tech has long been headquartered.
Yes, and I'm actually pretty good at geography, but I'm a little light on my California landmarks and cities. So
yes.
I need to study that.
Yes, well, yes, you need to, and we might have actually maybe next week our bonus odd take. I've got a link that might help you with that, but we will not have that for you today. So people, you're really going to have to tune in next week. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button or whatever you do in your podcast app.
It's what is it now? Follow and appreciate.
Yes. Well, from Mac Rumors, an Apple must compensate Brazilian customer over $1,000 for selling iPhone without a charger. Judge rules. So Brazil has some rules around this. Article 39 of the Consumer Code. The tie sale is an abusive and prohibited practice in Brazil, so is not allowed to sell cell phone and charger separately.
But what do they do with automobiles? It doesn't come with gas.
Yeah.
So is it a tied sale?
Yeah, and there was a story about Tesla isn't including some cable with some of their cars now. But yeah, so I don't know how widespread this will be. It seems like they might have to find a workaround in Brazil so they don't have to give everybody the same price of a phone for selling them a phone without a charger.
I don't know. I kind of still wish they'd include a charger because I got to be honest, mine are slim pickings around here because my kids lose everything. And it's like, well, here's a charger, here's a whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I find myself like, my past several devices have not come with a charger.
Yes.
So now I'm kind of stuck without one.
Yes. Well, that's what Amazon is for.
And
Apple did say how many billions of pounds and packaging and whatever they're saving, but yes.
Well, yes, but if people buy it separately, then they're not saving anything.
What's the savings? Yes.
Yeah.
Also, some more Apple news. There's been some talk this week. They've got a new policy they've been sending out emails to developers for removing apps that have not been updated in a significant amount of time. So it's kind of interesting because there are some older apps that just don't need to be updated. And I heard on another podcast, they were discussing the fact of, well, maybe they just have like a check-in process. It says, hey, developer, you still awake? Are you making sure this app is still working? Okay, we'll let you stay in the App Store, but I'm guessing there's also a lot of apps that could be cleaned out of the App Store.
My hope and wish was that some of these older apps would be updated so that they work with newer devices. It saddens me that there's this whole pile of old apps that just cannot move forward to the newer devices. And, I get it. I don't expect my Apple II program that I bought in 1976 to work on a current computer. I get that. And that date may predate the Apple II anyway.
Yes.
But still, it'd be nice if they just put just a small amount of effort into making these games and programs compatible, so they at least launch on the new stuff. But anywho, these people who are out there who do have apps that are compatible but are just broken, they need to get them updated or take them off the store.
So one of the big selling points of Windows 11 was that Android apps were going to be available. Now, Apple, with the M1 Max, you're able to install a lot of App Store apps. Mm-hmm. Now, they weren't quite clear with Windows 11 how this was going to work. Well, they're using the Amazon App Store, and I saw several articles this week. This one's from AndroidPolice.com.
The Amazon App Store?
Yes.
You froze.
And their title of this article is Android Apps on Windows 11 Review. Not like this. And the subtitle is They're Bad, because there's just not enough apps in there. It's
half
a
of
mess.
them aren't there. Yeah. Like, I don't even know if Wyze app is in there. I think I had to sideload it onto my Amazon tablet.
Yeah.
It barely has apps in there.
Yeah.
That's
so
weird choice.
the main cool thing about Windows 11, besides moving your taskbar or your bottom bar around, was Android apps. But then you get this and it's like not worth it. So again, if you accidentally upgrade to Windows 11, you're going to survive. Let me know if you get confused. I can give you some tips to make it look more like Windows 10. But if you're on Windows 10, there is no need to update at this point. Well, on to our bonus odd take of the week. This is one I found, and it is apt in our region for this time of year. It is dashboard.birdcast.info.
It's got such a wonderfully memorable URL.
Oh, and it looks like it will work with birdcast.info. I was clicked in. My link was a little bit further. But what they do is they track bird migration. So you can pick your location. So I picked Oregon before, and maybe because today they haven't uploaded data. So yesterday, as we record, so as of Sunday night, April 24th, 10,553,800 birds crossed Oregon this night.
How do they count them? Is there some guy out there?
Yeah, there is a guy with a clipboard and binoculars counting birds.
Dang. Well, not to be outdone, Kansas has had 2,300 birds have crossed Kansas so far tonight. That's estimated.
Yes.
I'm from Kansas, so I chose that. Did you know, and I think we've covered it on this podcast before, that the Oregon state bird and the Kansas state bird are the same bird?
What? I did not know this.
Do you know what the Oregon state bird is?
I don't even.
What? It's none other than the western meadowlark.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. There you go.
And that is not even on the list of expected nocturnal migrants from last night. We've got the warbling vireo, the dusky flycatcher, the short-billed dewitcher, the western kingbird, the lazuli bunting, the black-necked stilt, McGillivray's warbler, and the solitary sandpiper have been migrating this week.
That's, again, not to be outdone, but Kansas has a Wilson's Farah rope. I don't even know what that is. And a clay-colored sparrow. So there you go.
And you can listen, or you can see the frequencies. Just a random thing, but there is a lot of birds migrating this time of year in our area, and you can now know how many birds are coming by.
Yeah, and shout out to all those people out there with their clipboards and binoculars. Power to them.
Thank you for counting all these birds. That's a lot of birds to count every night. And you know what else you can count? Our picks of the week.
Now, I don't know about you, Nate, but I have difficulty in maintaining my inboxes for email.
Yes.
It's just something, I struggle with. First off, I have way too many inboxes. That's on me.
Yeah.
But for the ones that I do have and I want to maintain, I found this little app called Triage, and you can find it at triage.cc.
Ooh.
And this app is pretty darn cool. I'm just going to open it up here. And for free, yes, for absolutely the price of downloading, you can hook up one account and use most of its features. It's very much like a social dating type app. If email comes up in your card view, you can either swipe it to the left to archive it, or swipe it to the right to keep it in your inbox. And I think that's how the social apps work. Am I wrong? The dating apps? Are they left to get rid of and right to keep?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no option that I've seen to delete the actual app. It just archives it for you, which is probably safe, because if you accidentally hit it, then They also have buttons at the bottom of the screen if you're not a swiper, or if you have some type of accessibility issue, you can just tap on the buttons, which is kind of nice. And for a small fee of $10 a year, you can upgrade this app so that you can add as many accounts as you want, which I may do if I decide to like it.
Yeah.
And also, if you decide to reply to an email through this app, there will be a little footer or a little PS at the bottom of the message. That goes away if you have the paid for version. I do not ever intend to send email messages from this app. I'm just trying to triage the incoming mail. But here, I'm just going to try it. I don't want this one. Nope. Just spam, garbage. Look right there. I did 5 emails out of my inbox that ordinarily would have taken me twice the time to kind of look through and click on and delete. It's just gone.
Very nice.
If you're like me, check out Triage because it is going to revolutionize my inboxes.
I don't often do email on my phone, but every once in a while I will go in just to clear out some messages, and that sounds like a really good way to do it. Very nice. Well, my pick of the week this week was something that we recently purchased for my daughter. And Dave, I'm wearing them, but this is the FosPower Kids headphones with LED light-up cat ears, 3.5 millimeter on-ear audio headphones for kids with laced Tangle-free cable, max 85 decibel, hot pink, purple.
I have 3 things to say.
Yes.
1, I disagree. These aren't for kids. These are for anybody.
Yes.
You obviously are rocking those headphones. 2, the person who's wearing them can't enjoy the sparkly ears that are lighting up from LEDs. And 3, what is the cable laced with? If it's a dangerous drug, keep this away from your kids and pets.
Yes, it is. I think they're referring to like shoelace, so it is like a braided cable.
It's fabric, a braided cable. That's what we would ordinarily say.
Okay. Yes. So my daughter had some kids, like tiger-looking kids' earphones, and they were not working correctly, and we're going to be doing some traveling soon. So the pro tip is, if you have a kid and they use devices, get them some headphones because, man, some of the stuff they watch and do is really annoying. But her and I went on Amazon and we looked through a bunch of animal kids headphones, and these are the ones. Now, there's a million options on there. These ones are wired. I didn't go with Bluetooth just because that can be a little complicated, and she's not using them all the time. They're really nice. She was very happy. She went into the bathroom to look in the mirror to see how she looked. So a mirror helps for enjoying the LED lights, but you can have them just on or they can flash. But yeah, just some cute little kid designed headphones.
And they are in her signature pink color, so I can imagine her being ecstatic about that.
Yes. Her favorite colors currently, I believe, are pink, teal, and black. She added black as a favorite color. So I'm going to have a goth daughter here soon. Once she turns 6 this summer, I'm sure she's going to go full goth.
I like black because it's the color of my soul, Daddy.
Yes, I can only wait. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for asking questions, sending us text messages, all this good stuff. We love hearing from our listeners because we know about so much dang technology that we forget to share it with you guys. And so when you have questions, let us know. We love helping people. And we do this podcast so that you can get out there and tech better. And we do this podcast so that you can use technology and get out. And we do this podcast so that you can get out there and tech better.
That was the more succinct.
Yes.
That's much better.
Technology better, tech better, technology with better technology tech.
Podcast to better your technology. No, not really. I guess.
We are upgrading your technology.